love. It's something that we all can agree is a good thing, right? I think all of us here would say, I'm totally down with love. I fully support that. I want to see more love in my life and in the whole world. But when it really comes down to it, how many of us really practice it in our day-to-day living? And here's a way to determine how loving are we, how much we are in this place of love. And that is looking at our day-to-day life and how much we are wrapped up in thinking in our mind. See, the problem is that a lot of us, especially on the spiritual path, even though we say we are down with love, we are often thinking that we are loving, and we are thinking that we know what love is. But the problem is thinking, the mind, it doesn't understand love. It doesn't know what it is. And here's a clue. Take a look at how the mind operates. It's always coming from a place of lack or fear. It's always coming from a place of discontent. It's not enough. It's never good, right? See, even when things are good right now in this moment, the mind is always looking to the next moment. Well, what if that happens? I better be prepared for that. Or what if that happens? I better figure out how to deal with it should it come about. So the mind is always thinking, always plotting, always planning to watch out for dangers in the future. And even when things are good, the mind will never let us be satisfied. It's like that old saying, rarely do we stop and smell the roses. Because even when things are good now, the mind is like, well, what about tomorrow? I got to have it again then. Or it's good enough now, but it could be better. So you see how the mind is never satisfied. It's never content. It's never peaceful. It's always agitated and coming from a place of lack. So when we use that mind to try to understand love, it always becomes corrupted. Even when that idea in the mind, it's a good idea, it looks positive, it's never quite it. And the moment we start talking to our mind, even if it might start in a good place, it inevitably steers us into a place of dissatisfaction, into a place of negativity, because that's what the mind is all about. So what we got to do is realize, distinguish between what we experience through the mind versus what we experience beyond the mind. And we discover that when we step beyond the mind, that's the realm of love. And that love has nothing to do with thinking, it's got nothing to do with the mind. This is something that we can only experience. We cannot get with this because the mind will never understand it. But when we experience it, we know it. And that's why I want to share with you a guided meditation that will take you through the experience of seeing the difference between being in the mind and being non-loving, and stepping beyond the mind and stepping into a place of love that not only feels good, that's nourishing and enriching, but it's also a place of knowledge, of power. That this place of love, even though it's got nothing to do with thought, nothing to do with the mind, it taps into a place that's far more intelligent, that provides answers, detailed answers, complex answers that do not come from the mind, that just show up in the most glorious and spontaneous ways. So take this journey and explore. What a magical and tangibly powerful world that you could live in when you see what love is all about. Check this out. Check out this guided release from a recent class I did called The Power of Love. And see this power firsthand. Check this out. And let's do a guided release now. So we can start to see that whatever intention you have, no matter how big it is, that it is possible. So close your eyes. Let yourself get nice and relaxed now. And turn off any other distractions. And take a look at what you need from the world. Do you need the world to treat you right? Do you need to conquer the world? Do you need satisfaction from the world? Do you need safety from the world? A lot of times when we're holding on to our family, it's like a sense of safety, right? My clan, my peeps. And whatever you need from the world, that's coming from a place of neediness. And just examine that neediness. Now, sure, you might feel like you have it because they're there. And this is why a lot of us, we don't recognize how much we're holding on. The fact that we're holding on. We say, oh, yeah, I believe in imperturbability. I believe in going free. I want it. But we're holding on to these things, like things that we have. And we might not feel that neediness because, well, in the moment I have it. But what happens when that moment comes, and it will come, that thing leaves? You have to let it go. Because is there anything in this world that you found that you will not eventually have to let go of? And where's that going to leave you? And sure, those things might make you happy now. But what happens if they're gone? Are you still going to be happy? Or are you going to be in distress? And when you think about that, think about losing what you're holding on to the world for. Bring your attention to your stomach, your chest center. If it helps you, you can put your head down towards your stomach or chest. And just feel what you're feeling there right now. Do you feel a contraction, a tightness, a clutching feeling? Guess what? That's a non-loving feeling. And here, even for the things that you love, you're holding on to, you glorify, You idealize. You got this non-loving, contracted, lacking feeling. And that's got nothing to do with love. But just get in touch with it. Get in touch with that contraction right now. And open up an imaginary window or door right in front of that contraction, wherever you feel it. If it's right in your chest here, right behind your sternum, or if it's down in your gut, wherever it is, just open up a door, imaginary door right in front of it. And let that energy go out the door now. Just imagine that energy, whatever that looks like to you, leaving right out that door. Let that energy leave some more now. And some more. There's nothing to figure out about it. You don't need to examine it. You don't need to know why it's there. It's just energy. Just imagine that energy going out the door. That's all. And let it leave some more. And some more. And some more. And even more. And let that energy all escape. Just let it all leave. Bring it all up. And let it go out that window or door. And notice what's there, what's left. What comes up right behind that. You feel lighter? Well, that lighter feeling is the effortless love that you already are. You don't need to do it. You already are it. It's already there. Just open up and let all that non-loving feeling, let that contraction, that energy, just all leave. And let yourself feel lighter. And let your mind get quieter. Notice when you open up the door, and the more that energy leaves, the quieter your mind gets. And that's the source of all your problems right there. It's only that mind that tells you that you need this certain thing or what you have to do in order to get it. It's all a bunch of rubbish. Where the love is where the mind isn't. But just notice, as you get lighter and lighter, that mind gets quieter and quieter. And now see if you've been trying to figure out how to be happy, how to be peaceful, how to be abundant. It's all the same thing in the end. It's all the same thing that you're looking for. You're just looking for happiness. And see if you've been trying to figure out how to be happy. Now look at what you're doing. When you're trying to figure it out, you're trying to get that information. You're trying to get it with your mind. And the mind doesn't get it. Notice what the mind tells you. It says you got to work for it. You got to do this thing and that thing. You got to stand on your head. And so you do all these things. And at the end of all of it, you're still not happy. And then that thing that you call your friend, that mind of yours, what does it tell you? Oh, you can't do it. You're not good enough. All this love thing, it's a myth. It's not practical. It's just a dream you're chasing. You'll never get there. Maybe it's good for some, but not for you. Notice how your mind talks to you. See, first, it puts you to work. It sends you all over the place, trying to fix it, trying to find that answer you're trying to figure out. When you don't do it, it says, see, you can't do it. You're screwed up. Basically, it tells you to beat yourself up. It tells you to do the opposite of what we're here for. And look at how much you go in the opposite direction in your life. Look at how much you're practicing non-love directly. Take a look, see how much you're beating yourself up. See, some of you wrote in the chat ways that you beat yourself up, like judging yourself. And where does that get you? Does that get you happy? Does that take you towards love? Does that get you your goals? No. It just gets you digging yourself into a hole, right? And who's doing the digging? You are. Now, if you are digging yourself in a hole with no destination, getting nowhere, and you're the one who's doing it, what do you decide to do now? So you have a choice. You decide right now, enough's enough of that. I'm not going to be negative anymore. I'm not going to go down that road of beating myself up. I'm not going to listen to my mind anymore. I'm just going to practice love, and I don't care what happens. I'm just going to love. I'm going to be positive and loving. I'm going to be negative and non-loving. I'm going to beat myself up. So which do you prefer? Like I said before, you can't be loving while you're practicing non-love. You got to let go of the non-love first. So right now, could you let go of beating yourself up? Because you're in charge. Could you let that go? Could you let go doing that to yourself? Just a little bit. And could you let go of beating yourself up a little bit more? And could you let go of beating yourself up a little bit more? And a little bit more. And could you let go of beating yourself up even more? And even more. And could you let go of beating yourself up even more? And even more. And could you let go of beating yourself up even more? And more. And even more. And even more. And how's that feel? Feel the difference? Feel lighter? Now, you just give yourself some approval. And it isn't so much as giving yourself love, it's just being yourself. So could you love yourself? Could you love yourself as you are right now? Could you let yourself be as you are right now? Just as you are, and still be happy and peaceful? And could you love yourself? Could you love being yourself? And could you be loving? And could you allow that love to expand? And more, and more, and more, and even more, and even more, and even more, And how does that feel? And see if you're still missing that happiness. See if you need something outside of you right now to be happy. Or are you just happy right now? Just being. See, with no condition. I'm fine just as I am right now. I'm fine with how things are. Nothing needs to change right now in this moment. I'm happy just being who I am, what I am, just being. And it needs no reason. You'll need your mind to reason why. Doesn't matter why. Like Lester said, drop all the whys so you can be wise. Now take a look to see what it is that you are holding on to the world that you need to feel happy, maybe to feel safe, maybe to prove to yourself. Holding on to your story about where you're going, your goals, what you want to accomplish here. Or the things that you're holding on to. Like I mentioned before, family, that's a big one. And when you think about this thing that you need to be happy, just bring your attention back to your stomach or chest. See if there's a contraction there. That's a clue that you're not so happy. Either you're not happy with the idea of losing that thing, or even having it, it comes with a lot of grief. There's parts of it that don't make you happy. One of the things that Lester points out that I think a lot of us just reject without even realizing it, something that makes us kind of uncomfortable. I forgot what it was. My mind went blank. Ah, that everything that you're holding on to that makes you happy, that gives you happiness, it gives you pleasure, gives you 10 times more pain than the pleasure it gives you. Sometimes it's hard to see, but if you look, you'll see that the things that are currently making you happy, you also have a lot of insecurities, or there's a lot of work, or there's a lot of grief that goes along with it. If you really pay attention. The way Lester put it is, for every ounce of pleasure you take from the world, you get pounds of pain in return. So what are you holding on to that thing for? And it's your mind that says, I got to hold on to it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be responsible. It'd be stupid to let go. I can't let go. I'm afraid to let go, whatever. But it's your mind telling you that. And look at how much you're struggling to maintain that happiness. And oftentimes, not even feeling it. And again, check your gut, your feeling center here. Is there a contraction? Right there, that's your body letting you know you got some non-living feelings. And they're showing up right now. So open up that door. Let that energy go. It's just a lacking feeling, lacking energy, whatever. Just let it go out the door. And some more. And some more. And some more. And some more. And even more. And let that go even more. And even more. Just let that energy go. How's that feel? Now notice right behind that lack, once you let it go, it's just lightness, effortlessness, happiness, love. It's all the same thing. And it's the same thing as success and abundance. It's all the same energy. And it just shows up. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to conjure it. You don't have to do it. It just is. And while we've been examining where we get stuck in the non-love, which is all coming from our mind, let's pay attention to that. Notice all your neediness, all of your problems come to you through your mind. It's your mind informing you of those problems that you have, of how bad you are. It's just your mind talking to you. But who's that mind talking to? It's talking to somebody. Talking to you. Who are you? And here's the problem. When we aren't paying attention, we mistakenly identify as that mind. We think that that mind is us. And we take it seriously. It says, I need this thing. Okay, yeah, I need it. That's me talking. And you're always listening to that mind. You're always running to it, aren't you? Right? Tell me what to do. Tell me what to do in this situation. Tell me how to get my work done. Tell me how to, make my income. We rely on that mind. You are not that mind. You could just see it clearly, because what is the mind? It's just a sound in your head, a voice talking to you. Who's it talking to? And look at that. Who's listening to that mind right now? And the funny thing is you can't really put a finger on that. You can't identify. It has no barriers or boundaries, because it's not the body. Because who are you who's in control of the body, who's aware of the body, who's feeling the sensations of the body? That's something that's beyond the body. That has no boundaries, has no name. It's really just like a silent presence, an awareness, the mind and the body and the world that you're living in. And that silent presence exists beyond the world. Yet in listening to that mind tells that silent presence you need the world. And it has you deeply entangled with that world. And through all of that, through your mind, comes all the challenges, all the problems, all the lacks. What if it's all just noise? What would happen if all that noise went away? What would be left? So right now, just get a picture of your mind. Whatever that thing looks like to you. And let's pretend for a moment that you are in charge. Not your mind, but you. And you control that picture. It doesn't control you. So imagine that picture of the mind just evaporating, dissolving away, fading away into nothing. Just imagine that mind disappearing, dissolving away. And more. And more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And even more. And get a picture of your body, whatever that looks like to you. And imagine that picture evaporating and dissolving. And let it dissolve even more. and more. And even more. Just let the whole thing evaporate and dissolve. And get a picture of something that you're holding on to in this world. Something that you need to be happy. Maybe it's your family, children. Maybe it's your pets. Maybe it's your idea of who you are and what you're supposed to be doing in this world. Whatever that is, just get a picture of it. And could you allow that picture to just evaporate and dissolve? And let it evaporate and dissolve even more. And even more. And more. And even more. And more. And just let it go right now. It's okay. I'm not trying to actually get rid of it. Just dissolve that picture. Just a picture in your mind right now. Let the whole thing go. And whatever that is, it has the capacity to come and go. But right now, when you let it go, notice what remains. Who's still here? Even when the mind goes quiet, it's not like you disappear. You're still here, aren't you? Now just let your mind get nice and quiet. And ask yourself, if I'm not my mind, if I'm not my body, and if I'm not the story of some purpose I'm supposed to have in this world, something that I'm fighting for, if I'm not any of that, what am I? Who am I? And just take what you get. There's nothing to analyze about it. There's no right or wrong answer. Just surrender to whatever comes up for you right now. If I'm not my mind, if I'm not my body, if I'm not my story, what am I? Right? Just take what you get and surrender to it. Then surrender to it some more. And some more. And more. And even more. And even more. And notice what's left. When the mind takes a back seat and the body's not so important, and the story's just a story, what remains? Are you? Are you? Notice that answer. Of course you are. And notice how nice it is. What a relief it is to step out of that burden of the mind and the stories. This part of you is timeless and limitless. And it's just quiet. Nothing needs to be said. It just is. So allow that quietness to expand. And more. And more. Notice in the quiet, nothing is needed. Nothing can be taken from you. And nothing can even be given to you. You're whole, complete, perfect right now. So surrender to that. And surrender to that some more. And some more. All right. Now you're getting a taste of what it is that you're looking for. And it's kind of nice. So, what would you be willing to let go of to have not just a taste, but the whole thing? And would you be willing to give that up? All right, just let it go. Whatever comes to mind now, could you let it go? It's just a story right now, right? Let that story dissolve. And more. Just a picture in your head. Let it dissolve even more. and more, and even more. And see, when you let that picture go, you still didn't disappear. You can exist just fine without needing that thing. And you didn't necessarily even lose that thing either. You could have the picture or not. The difference is that neediness, that holding on. Which always gets you contracted, gets you into a negative, lacking feeling, gets you that pound of pain for that ounce of pleasure. So just say, I'm just going to let the whole thing go. I'm going to take all my happiness, all my joy from just being. I'm going to take it from within instead of from the world. Again, just surrender to the quiet, the spaciousness, the presence now. And surrender to it some more now. And now, surrender to it some more. And now. And now. And now. And now. And just let yourself be for a moment now. Just be. And you see, when Lester's talking about all you need to do is love, 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 it's really just be, be, be. And you get here just by letting go of all your non-love. Letting go of that mind of yours. It's all in the mind. And when you're ready, you can open up your eyes. All right.